Hi everyone, and in this video we're going to be doing a review of pretty much what you need to be doing to get your file set up to bring into the game engine for major assignment 1. So you have 5 animations that you have chosen, that you've edited, that you've created. Now we're going to be setting them up to bring into the game engine. And there's a couple different ways to retarget these animations, and what I'm going to do is just go over just basically building the file, setting up a file, and then getting it ready to import into the game engine. So what I'm going to be using for this demo is the previs moves that are built into Motion Builder, and also from Motion Builder Lab 1 the test model that we created. So I'm going to bring in the test model. Then I'm going to merge it with, open it with no animation, so she comes in a T pose. And I'm also going to go into my previs moves folder, and right now it's an icon view. If I change this to list view here, it'll give us an overall list of all of the different animations that are here. So you would have a file that has all of your different animations for your assignment that you're going to be completing. Alright, so what I'm going to do is a bunch of these boxing animations and then import them into the game engine. So to get this started, what we'll do is we'll create a new take, and I'm going to keep take 1 to be my T-pose, and then create a new take, and it's going to ask me if I want to copy data from the current take. I'll say yes, and what I'll do is I'll start off with the uppercut. So I'll go down into my takes, and I want to rename this just so that it stays organized and I remember which take is which, and I'll call this uppercut. Alright, so now that I have uppercut selected, what I can do is then drag and drop the uppercut motion file into Motion Builder into an FBX merge. And what I'll do is FBX merge box uppercut, and you'll see that it brings in the animation file here. Now retargeting it is simple, because this character has already been characterized, and if you don't remember how to characterize your character, go back to one of the previous videos that covers that topic. But what we'll do is go to the character here, and we'll see that it retargets the animation to our girl character that we imported. Now before we can remove the original motion file from the scene, what we would have to do is plot this to either the control rig or the skeleton. So in this particular situation, I'm going to plot this animation to the control rig so that we can edit the animation just like you would if you were editing the animation prior to bringing it into the game engine. So I'm going to go over here to bake plot and then plot to control rig. And you can see here now it's been plotted to our control rig. So now that's been plotted to something else inside of the scene, we can remove all of the original animation data that we imported out of it. You can kind of strip these out upon saving the file, but it'll just be a little bit easier. It'll be less steps that we have to do at the end if we have this all set up. So where it's already been deleted. So what I'll do is I'll grab anything that's unnecessary here. So actually these lights I don't need. mteeth, HDDS, midres, and master, that's all part of that imported scene. And if I right click it and go to select branches, what it'll do is it'll select any of the branches that are a part of that animation, and then we can go to delete and then confirm, and it's going to give us a bunch of warnings. We'll just say okay, yes to all, yes to all, yes to all, yes to all, delete character, yes to all, yes to all, yes to all, yes to all. And you can see that now the motion file is there, and there aren't any artifacts left of the original animation that we imported in. After editing this animation, so I kind of did this example so that you could like have your control rig and animate on your animation layers like we did in previous videos. But let's say that this animation is done. What I would then do from there before importing it into a game engine is make sure that it's plotted to the skeleton, because the control rig is just like a character reference that's driving the animation. Once it's plotted to the actual skeleton, that animation is now on that character. Okay, so now that we have one of the animations set up, let's set up another one. I'm going to go back to the original take one, and then from the drop down select a new one and say yes. And then I'm going to rename this take. So I'll go down to my takes area here, rename this take 002, and I'll call this one jab. And what we'll do is we'll drag and drop the jab here into our scene. Make sure you do FBX merge, box jab. And this time it brought in some extra stuff that we don't need. So if I go to the scene view, there should be these lights in here that you can delete. So I'm going to delete these lights out that I don't need. Let's see. I will delete that one out. And what we could do is just retarget this. So we'll select character, and we can see she's retargeted now. We can plot it. I'm just going to plot it to the skeleton directly this time. The previous example was just if you need to edit the file. You can always plot back to a control rig too once it's been plotted to a skeleton, so you can go back and forth between the two. And what I'm going to do now is just delete all of these references. So we'll select the branches and then delete. And I think the skeleton might still be there. Yeah, I'm still seeing the skeleton in the scene. Where did that go? Oh, here it is, reference. So what I'll do is I'll select these branches here and then delete this as well. Just all, delete character, just all. And that should get rid of that other skeleton that was in there, and the animation is baked down here. Alright, cool. So I've got a second animation in here. Wonderful. Let's get a third one in. So I'm going to go back to take one, and then back down to take new. And I'll say yes, and I'll go down to my takes, and I'll rename this one, and I'll rename this one Roundhouse. Alright, so I'll drag and drop Roundhouse into the scene, make sure I do a FBX merge, and now the Roundhouse in there. Now you could do all of these as separate files, so basically you're repeating this process over and over again with one file, and only one take in it. You don't have to have them all be in the same FBX file. I'm just doing it for this example. Normally that's how I would do it, is I would have all these be separate animations and then bring them into the game engine. But for this example, since you're doing 5 animations, I figured we could combine them all into one file. Alright, so we have the Roundhouse here. And what I'll do from here is select this character, make sure she's applied, and we get the Roundhouse. And I will plot to the skeleton, open up the scene view, grab all of those things that I don't need, select the branches, and then right click and delete. It's important to select the branches because that's what gets rid of the character reference as well. And you just basically want to say yes to everything. And now it's completely out of the scene, and she's animating with the Roundhouse. Cool. Alright, so I've got 3 animations, we need 2 more. I'm going to go back to take 1. Right? Yes, so copy that. And I think, let's see, let's do the cross hook for this take. So I'll go to my takes, rename that new one cross hook, and what I'll do is I'll drag the cross hook, make sure you do FBX merge, there's the cross hook, and we will select the character, and then plot this to the skeleton. There it is. And we just need to remove his animation from here. Select all these lights again. And then, oh, I did the wrong thing here. I did deselect. So I'm going to select all of them, select branches, and then delete. Delete. Come on. Delete. Confirm. Okay. Yes to all, yes to all, yes to all, yes to all. Delete character, yes to all, yes to all, yes to all. And now this one is plotted in the scene. Alright, so we need one more animation. I'm going to go back to take one. Go down to new. And say yes. And I think for this one, I saw one in here was like cowboy draw. I'm going to do cowboy draw for this one. So I'll go into my takes. Rename this one cowboy draw. And then what we'll do is we'll drag the cowboy draw into the scene. Make sure you do FBX merge, and then we will open it. And I'll have to rotate around here. And if I hit play, draw. Okay, so I got the draw here, and I will apply this to my girl character. There she goes. And we will then plot it to the skeleton and remove the reference to those inside of the scene. So grab the lights, grab everything else, select branches, and then we'll go to delete, confirm. Okay, yes to all. Delete character, yes to all. And then that'll get rid of all the reference. And now we have this animation. Cool. So if I jump through, I should see all of my different takes are still there. All right. The jab. And everything. All right. So everything should be all set now. I can rewind all of these. You don't have to. But you can rewind all of these. And basically we're ready now. If you have all of the animations set and ready to go, you can now save it so that you can import it into whatever game engine you're going to import it into. So I'm going to go up here to File and then Save As. Alright. So I'm going to go to Save As, and I'm going to save this in my documents here. What I'll do is I'll call this game girl with Anim. I don't know why I did that with Anim. And I guess she's ready to go. So I could just hit save, and you're probably going to want to put this in a folder. So make a new folder here. Call it Game Girl. And I got a capital A there. And I'll save this inside of here. And you'll see it comes up with these save options here. And it'll allow us to pick whichever takes, whichever animations we want to bring in the export. It'll also allow us to bring in anything else we would want to bring in. And if you uncheck these, it'll basically not bring in that stuff. I don't think there's anything in here in particular I don't want to bring. So I want to bring the textures. But yeah, there might be certain situations where you're going to want to shut some of these off. But this looks pretty good. Alright, so I'll hit save. And now it should be ready to go. And in the next video, we'll take a look at bringing this into the game engine and actually making them do some things.